tenant, the cloud is gray. SharePoint humming, Teams is live. Agent 365 starting his drive. Automating flows left and right, riding the pipeline into the night. Agent 365, catch the wave from the cloud to the shore. Bold and brave, Copilot surfing, riding the crest. M365 agent, he's the best. Our automator rolls like a tide. Logic apps barrel, he's deep inside. Dataverse reef and a SharePoint swell. He handles it all and does it well. Sensitivity labels on every file. Agent 365, riding in style. Agent 365, catch the wave from the cloud to the shore. Bold and brave, Copilot surfing, riding the crest. M365 agent, he's the best. Azure, he knows the score. You ask one question, he comes back for more. DLP surfing a 10-foot wall. Compliance riding, he never falls. Agent 365, catch the wave from the cloud to the shore. Bold and brave, Copilot surfing, riding the crest. M365 agent, he's the best. Agent 365, riding free. Agent 365, that's me.
Hello and welcome back to the M365 Show. I'm Marcel Bosk, and today here with me is my co-host Steve Corey. Warm welcome to you, and a warm welcome to you, Paul. Warm welcome. Today we want to talk about, yeah, you heard it in the song, Agent 365. Steve.
Yeah, this is definitely the topic where you've got a lot of excitement, you've got a lot of uncertainty, definitely a lot of uncertainty. So they're just kind of colliding in this perfect storm. Because Copilot agents, really AI agents in general, they're just moving incredibly fast. You've got custom engine agents, declarative agents, autonomous agents. Now, that's not even including the newest things like AI teammates or these new autopilots that got announced. But a lot of organizations are already building without much of a clear governance framework in place. So it's kind of a recipe for trouble.
Yeah, that's why I'm thrilled to, warm welcome to Paul Keijzers. I think he's not only a very good MVP, I think he's a really good surfer, that's why. So I think the introduction was right, I hope. And Paul, the stage is yours.
Yes, thanks. Yeah, I was watching the video and I was like, this looks good. So thanks, Marcel. Great to be here. I'm a long-time listener, and this is quite a bit of a moment for me to be here. So thank you for that.
So, Paul, let's kick things off with kind of an introduction. What does your day-to-day work with agents usually look like, and what kind of drew you into this space?
Well, it's about a third hands-on building, Copilot Studio agents, SharePoint agents, Power Automate. Another third is governance. I think this is one of the most important parts, especially with IT, security, and compliance. I work for large organizations that have a lot of compliance rules, etc. And the last part is really keeping up to date with Copilot, or with everything that's coming actually in Microsoft 365 space. I wanted to say Copilot, but it's much bigger. So that's also a daytime job to keep up to date. And everyone was looking like into the chat experience, but the real shift is underneath it. So for a first time, a business consumer could use their data in a natural language, and that in 10 minutes they could make something. So that's from zero to hero, I call it.
Really, really interesting. So let's start with some grounding. If I so look back to the year 2023, Copilot Studio starts, and everyone talk about bots and chatbots, and when I think it was 2024, there was a big shift. So no one talks about the chatbots. Everyone talks about agents. So regarding to this, naming, what is the difference? What is a bot, and what is the difference between a bot and an agent? So I think there's a lot of understanding problems here for the most users who said, okay, let me start with Copilot Studio.
Yes, good question, because the word is doing a lot of work right now. The way I frame it, bot answers, an automation executes, an agent decides. An agent in Microsoft 365 has three things glued together: instructions, the knowledge, and the actions. And the LLM that reasons across them and picks the next step. The reasoning loop is the difference. A Power Automate flow follows the path you drew. An agent picked the path. The other piece Microsoft is making explicit with Agent 365, every agent has a human boss. Either it's delegated access, acting on behalf of a user, or its own access, which still has a sponsor or manager attached to it. There's no truly anonymous agent in Microsoft 365 world. Someone owns it, and that's deliberate.
Yeah, and Microsoft kind of introduced three different patterns into the environment. So you've got declarative agents, you've got custom engine agents, you've got Copilot Studio, which can actually build either one of those. But now you've also got these autonomous agents. So can you walk us through how those really fit together, and which ones you see organizations actually deploying today?
Yeah, I think Microsoft 365 agents are the agent builder, SharePoint agent, Copilot Studio agent, published into the Microsoft 365 space. These are run on the Microsoft orchestrator inside Copilot. Most organizations start here. No infrastructure to manage. Then we've got Copilot Studio agent, not published in Microsoft 365. Same builder, but living in Teams, website, custom channels, citizen developers, and Power Platforms. I think this is also used to call Power Virtual Agents before, but that's a long time ago. Then we've got Foundry agents. You bring your own model and orchestration, typically in Azure AI Foundry. Developer story, powerful for specialized work. And the partner ecosystem agents that integrate via the Agent 365 SDK, third-party platforms, plugging into Microsoft Governance Surface. Agent 365 is the layer governs all of those: the registry, identity, security, lifecycle. There's also early register sync for agents on AWS, Bedrock, and Google Cloud. But that's still public preview as far as I know. In prediction today, most agent builder, SharePoint agents, and Copilot Studio and M365, Foundry and Autonomous are where the pilots live.
Yeah, So this is a really right way here regarding to the around the autonomous agents. So one question to that. So I saw a lot of possibilities to create in agents. And if I talk with customers, they said to me, so we as IT, we want to give our members in the company the possibility to create agents, but there must be, I would say, one border. And this is a border, for example, what you said before, Microsoft Foundry. For example, this is a really good border because only developers has possibility to create, let's say agents on this platform. And what do you think regarding to these borders and this the maturity ladder? So which agents are really to learn really easy to use, and where are the border where you said, okay, now here is an professional developer or agent builder better in place, because it's really hard for an internal IT organization, I think.
Yes, I think so too. And you really have to look at what is possible within our guardrails, because you can start with a light builder within the Copilot. Then you can go to the Copilot Studio, which is already a bit more advanced. You need to have like a bit of skills to do that. And then we have Foundry, which is a full developer platform. So yeah, I think the main thing is, where do your users, what they want? First, you have to have the narrowing what they're searching for. So if they are building an HR agent, for example, they have to focus on one point, not on the whole HR system, else you will get a very wide agent which does not fit all. And then it's also about the grounding. Where is it grounded? So if it's like grounded on SharePoint, is it grounded somewhere else? But if you narrate it on just SharePoint sites and you say to your agent, only use that, then it's only grounded on that, which will give better results back. And further on, you have to observe what is going on, and if your agent is giving back the correct information.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about that build process. So I like what you're saying about you having a narrow scoped agent, not a broadly scoped agent, because the agent could get confused. But in general, when an organization decides to create an agent and it's targeting M365 experiences, but then maybe this probably does apply to a lot of other agents as well. But what does a well-architected agent actually look like? What are kind of the principles that separate a really good one from a bad one?
Yeah, basically what I just said, it's going down to three principles. Narrow. So like I said, if you have a HR super agent, for example, you have the temptation to have everything from the HR in there, but narrow it just to have like a expense policy for 2026. You can question that. That's really an agent on its own. And the grounding. So what I said, if you have like a SharePoint site which you use, instead of just letting it go on the whole internet or intranet, just point it to pointers where it can get the real information. So that's the grounding, we call that. And then we obviously observe what it's doing, if it's right. And within Agent 365, it also surfaces. So you can see what it's doing in the agent map there. And you can audit it. So you can't govern it, but you can improve it.
So, but agents often needs to connect to data. So, for example, SharePoint, Dataverse, external APIs or databases. Regarding to that, how do you design data connections, and what do you see which problems could that cause? If I think, for example, back to the first version or one of the first integrations of SharePoint in Copilot Studios was not really best one. But regarding to work IQ, I think this point is now changed. So what do you think here?
Yeah, I think that's the number one threatening agent like a human user with the builder permissions. Someone with broad SharePoint access builds an agent, the agent inherits that reach, and suddenly finance is asking its question and getting back snippets from the M&A side. So I think that's one of the things that's really important. So the right pattern, scope the knowledge to exactly what the agents need, dedicated SharePoint sites or libraries as the agent's brain, sensitivity labels at the source, so the protection travels with the content into the agent's answers. DLP as a backstop, although I must say with co-work, sometimes the DLP is not respected, so be aware of that. And in Agent 365, that DLP now extends to agents directly, not just users. For external APIs, the agent should have its own identity, Entra agent identity. That's a real first-class object now, not a workaround. Service principal or managed identity with least privilege scopes, so that's really important. Never a personal connection. And document the data flow. Once you have 10 agents touching 20 sources, nobody remembers what connections, what connects to what. So the agent registry really helps there, but only if you actually populate it.
Absolutely.
So one question to respect. That sounds for me that I need to talk with a lot of different people in a company. So
Yes.
is this your experience too, or not?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We did a rollout for a private bank in the Netherlands, and we made or at least the team made a picture of which teams were all involved, and it were like 12 teams that were involved in everything that happened for the personal development agents, that kind of stuff. Yes, so it's the same experience.
Yeah, that's when you find out an agent isn't just a quick little thing you get done in a week. It could likely span months, just in planning and preparation before you write that line of code, or before you hop into Copilot Studio or wherever.
Yes,
And so
and I think one of the important part as well, and that's coming now to life, is, as we know, co-work is now G8, and you have to have your tokens. So now it will come down on how to prompt correctly, I think, and
Absolutely.
that's something that you need to have in your agent as well.
Yeah, definitely. And when I'm teaching people about like how to build an agent, I always start with them with a declarative agent, where they basically the only thing they can really do to really teach this agent is agent instructions. So system instructions, system prompt, agent prompt, whatever you want to call that. That and grounding are like the two fundamental things you've got to get right, or everything else falls apart. So how much time and effort should teams invest in really crafting that good, well-rounded set of instructions and that tuned knowledge, or that, tailored knowledge for their agents? And how do you know when that agent's actually ready to go live?
Yes, first of all, it's more than people think, but not in the way they think. So teams are obsessed over the perfect system prompt, long, full of you must and you shall, mostly cargo cutting. What actually moves the needle is the knowledge, curated, clean, current source content, and the test set. 30 to 50 representative questions you run every time you change something. Ready to go live means three things. It answers your gold standard questions correctly. It refuses gracefully when something's out of scope, and a real user has used it for a week without complaining. All three. Ship it. Anyone missing, you're not ready.
Yeah. I think this is, yeah. This is the thing. So the one thing that was a lot of IT teams is the agent sprawl. I talked with Emily Lundblad, and she said to me, "Oh, we have 10,000 agents in our company." I said, "What? 10,000?" And yeah, so it's. And I think more and more in more and more companies we will see the same here. So my question is regarding how can I get organize that and bring and governance and compliance regarding to that.
Yeah, going back to those agents, I thought Microsoft somewhere said that it will be next year about 3 million agents in the area. So that's quite a lot, and I see it as well. I see the same thing. So this is actually a governance question hidden inside a build question, and it's that keeps us IT leaders up at night. The pattern: I push. Don't try to prevent sprawl. You'll lose. Channel it instead. 3 moves. First, turn on the controls you already have: Power Platform, DLP, environment controls, and the Agent 365 agent registry in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. That registry is your inventory. Second, publish a paved road, a template, a starter kit. Build your first agent with the governance defaults backed in. People follow the easy path. Third, lightweight intake, not approval theater, just a register. Tell us what you built, what data it touches, who owns it. Try to gatekeep every agent through a cup, and people just go around you. I think that's really the last, especially the last part is, I see that as a main issue in classic organizations. Let's put it that way.
Is
Yeah,
people
I don't
sidestepping the controls, all the shadow AI being used?
Yeah.
I see that a lot too, where maybe a company is not rolling out Copilot fast enough, and all of a sudden you see people with their own Claude instances with a personal subscription running against the enterprise data, and yeah, that's not great.
No, it is.
And there's not only a Microsoft word by the customer, so we're using Nighten, for example, make and a lot of other different tools, and so to bring on and I would say and central governance, and to say what are the easy to use agents, for example, and declarative agents with the talking about one file or 3 files. So I think the most IT said, no problem. Yeah, you can do that. But if you build something on, like you said, on enterprise data, yeah, when it would be hard to define, and there must be a way, and in Europe, especially in Europe, to integrate the Workers' Council or, for example, and compliance manager or data officer. So so I have customers who said to me, there will be no agent go live where we as a Workers' Council will take a look on it. Because we have a software institution, we have a software, and we will take it live. This is a little bit different to the United States, because there's no Workers' Council, but in Europe, this is very special. For really important in Germany, for example.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is something that's really particular for Germany. So I know in the Netherlands it's not that much, although I live in Portugal, but I have a lot of Dutch clients. But there we have a CAP, which is like a change management board, and they have to approve it as well. But yeah, the main thing is it shouldn't take too long before approval, because people will try to find some way around it. I think that's really important to keep an eye on.
Yeah, perfect. So now let's go deep into governance. So when we started with it, and now I think we can talk about governing agents fundamentalities regarding to where we needed it in a way regarding to the adoption, how we can make agents, and the possibility to know what is the way of I can make agents in the company, and where I need to, for example, talk with someone from the application management or the IT to help me to integrate my processes. Because I didn't know if you know that there is an envisioning cards workshop for Microsoft. I think this is really cool, and I've done a workshop that because I want to find out some agent processes, and at the end of the process, I found out I want an app with a little chatbot in it. So and that means so it's the end user. I think I saw that really often don't understand what is an agent and what can he do, what can an agent do for me, and so how we as I would say power platform consultants could help the customers to find the right solution for that, and I mean the power platform solution for the problem, but the a customer or an organization part will have. So this is a really important question, I think.
Yeah, it's about the governance. So 3 things that make agent governance different is agents act. So governance isn't just about access, it's about behavior. A user can read a file, an agent can read it, summarize it, decide if it's relevant, and email it to the customer. Different risk and surface. So, and then we have agents are non-deterministic. Same input, different output. Your traditional change control assumes version 1.0 keeps working. If you test it at 1.0 with agent, the model can shift under you, so it can have a different outcome. And agents blur identity as the user, or as itself, or as a service. That matters for auditing, for least privilege, for accountability when something goes wrong. If you map of uses are observable, governance, and security. The agent identity and in Entra, the registry and lifecycle in the message and admin center. Data security through Purview, threat protection through Defender, device level enforcement through Intune. Miss one and it shows up at the worst possible moment.
Yeah, that's true. It is a lot of different things to keep an eye on and to configure before you even begin building that agent or designing it. But also kind of data access is at the heart of agent risk as well. Because, as you pointed out, the agent could potentially read, act on, or even exfiltrate information depending on how the agent's configured and how your environment is protected with something like Defender or Purview, especially Purview. So how should organizations really think about scoping their agent permissions and applying those least privilege principles to their agent identities?
Yes, this is where I push the hardest. Treat the agent as its own identity, not as an extension of the builder. That's exactly what Entra agent identity gives you. The agent is now a first-class object. Apply conditional access to it, apply ID protection, put it in an access package via Entra ID governance with a defined scope and a defined sponsor. Caveat, conditional access and identity protection For delegate agents are evaluated against the user's identity. So the user still needs Entra P1 for conditional access and P2 for identity protection. Agent 365 turns the controls on, but the user's side depends have to be there. Dependency, sorry. That's why customers are on bare Microsoft 365 stumble. They license A365, expect everything to light up, and then they realize they are missing the foundation. Mental model I use: if this agent goes rock tomorrow, what's blast the radius? If the answer is everything the builder sees, your scoping is wrong. If the answer is this one library, this one workflow, you've done it right. And review on a schedule. Agents accumulate access the same way users do. A365 gives you lifecycle policies, automate the review, automate the offboarding when a sponsor leaves the company. This is something that's really important when someone leaves the company. In Agent 365, you can see what are the orphaned agents that are from people who left the company or are no longer member of a group or something like that.
So, but should be not a problem regarding to the ownership if the agent is built on a managed identity or service identity.
Yes, that's correct. But still, you will see who was the previous owner, and it will come up in Agent 365.
Okay, so I have one question regarding to Purview. So you talk about it, and I know Purview regarding to sensitivity labels, data loss prevention, and these tools are built for human users, and they should interact with documents, for example. So my question is how agents interact with Purview.
The honest answer, better than people fear, but with real gaps. What works in Agent 365 is sensitivity labels, follow the content the agent retrieves, confidential document confidential constraints inherited in the answer. DLP for agents blocks them from accessing or sharing sensitivity content. Insider risk management extends to agents. Anomalously and risky agent behavior surfaces. Audit logs and e-discovery cover agent interaction. So that's really important. The dependency people miss is label honoring, and inheritance require the grounding data to actually be labeled. And that's what I see missing at a lot of organization. So the minimum OE3 for M365 data. Pay-as-you-go data at rest for non-Microsoft 365. No labels, no inheritance, no matter what your license. The gaps, cross-tenant scenarios are rough. The third-party connectors used inside agents, partial coverage, depending on the connector. And the agent dashboard from Viva Insight for adoption analytic is still a premium feature in preview. So 50 plus Copilot license are required for that, but most companies, smaller companies don't have, let's put it that way. And the playbook, lean hard on labeling at the source, use DLP as a backstop, and accept you'll find some gaps manually for the high-risk agents. I think the last part is really important.
Yeah, I like your plan for governing data, protecting it, protecting. In my opinion, it's always about protecting data from your agents.
Yes,
because that's where the majority of the value is all of that data you've accumulated. But let's look at governing the agents themselves. and scalability behind that, because governance frameworks only work if they can scale. And with one or two agents, that's not very difficult. You may not see a problem with your framework, but as you start to scale to dozens or hundreds or thousands, I know I recently saw a stat that whatever a company thinks they have in terms of the quantity of agents, the reality is it's probably 10 times that number. So
Yes.
as you're scaling quicker than you realize, how do you prevent that governance from becoming a bottleneck?
Yes. So there are three principles. Tier your agents. Not every agent needs the same level of review. A meeting notes agent is far less risky than one that accesses customer data and triggers external actions. Use a simple, low, medium, and high risk model. Then codify it in Agent 365 with policy templates that apply the right controls to each tier. Automate the boring stuff. Inventory, permission audits, drift detection, use telemetry. Agent 365 gives you automated lifecycle rules in the admin center. Condition-based runs without a human. So the COE starter kit and graph APIs cover the rest. If a person has to check every agent every quarter, you will fail by month 3. And delegate ownership. Central IT cannot own every agent. Every agent needs a named business owner. Agent 365 actually enforces this for own access agents. They require a sponsor or a manager. The platform is finally enforcing what we've been preaching. It owns the platform and the guardrails the business owns to the agent.
So I have some question to some new stuff from H365. I talk about this with Steve before. I think I was in a customer meeting and the customer questioned me. So, Mr. Bosk, so do you think that some other, for example, Night and other agent builders will be included into Agent 365? And I said, I didn't read that before. I think it was at the start of May. I didn't read that before. I don't think so. I never seen that Microsoft has that before. And then at the evening on the same day, I looked at LinkedIn and I saw, there was an announcement from Night. So we are now with 50 other ones in Agent 365. I said, that day I write the customer the same day. So it was a bit mistake what I said. I think there was some major changes. This was one of that I saw, and the other one is where are no topics anymore, and where is a movement regarding to skills. There's a movement, and I think where the agent will be in the future more and more, I would say, Claude-like. Do you can talk about this to or answer a little bit regarding to this 2 questions, I would say.
Yeah, you are referring to the new agent capabilities that are constantly done. So it's generally hard. Nobody has it fully solved. So the approach that works govern outcomes, not features. So no agent may exfiltrate customer P2. Survives every new connector Microsoft shifts. No agent may use connector X is a rewrite every month. And you see them like 30, 40 new connectors every month next to it. So practically subscribe to the Microsoft 365 roadmap and message center. Assign someone to explicit job of triaging agent-related changes weekly. There are a lot. Even 30 minutes is enough. And right now, there's a lot of in motion. Agent 365 features moving from public preview to GA. So 1st of May Agent 365 was released. So we see new features coming already. The Defender for agent capabilities landing, a registry sync from AWS and Google Cloud expanding. Don't react to every announcement, but react on a cadence. Quarterly, what's new? What does it mean for our framework? And review it. And most of the time, for my personal clients, I do a monthly catch-up, which I provide to them.
So yeah, that's a great way to look at it. It's a constant process. Otherwise, you're spending hours and hours and hours and hours trying to catch up on the last even week or two. For the IT admin or the Power Platform lead listening right now, who knows that agents are going to come their way whether they like it or not, what is the single most important thing that they need to do this week to get ahead of it?
Inventory. Open the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, find the Agent 365 experience, look at the registry. If you don't have Agent 365 yet, open Power Platform Admin Center and Copilot Studio and pull what you can from there. Either way, find out what already exists in your tenant. I guarantee there are more agents than you think. We already talked about that. Built by more people than you know, touching more data than you'd like. You cannot govern what you can't see. Get the list first. Everything else follows from that. And while you're there, check what local agents are running on endpoints. OpenClaw, Cloud Code, whatever else. And the E5 gives you Defender visibility on that today. And Agent 365 gives you the runtime controls to actually block that bad behavior.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot more agents than they're expecting because all these third-party ones that kind of just show up, Canva and other things, they'll show up in there too. So just don't get overwhelmed by the number you see in that dashboard.
Actually. Yeah, it's sometimes it really amazed me already what we see there. It's going so fast, and we're just in, so to say.
Right. It's like it feels like it just rolled out. Even though we've been seeing it evolve since November when they announced this, and it's slowly coming together. But yeah, it does see everything, definitely.
Absolutely.
So I think we have a really good question from the audience. So if we coming now to the audience, and this is regarding to the cost. So wait a second, I want to try. So Mirko, could you show us from Sebastian Sochaki? Yeah, perfect. So I will read it. It's not like to use Agent 365. You need to have license per user. What currently costs $15 per user, or you have E7 license, not mentioned. Agents use credits. It's make it really expensive. I forgot. Copilot Landscape also is required if you have not E7.
That's correct. And that's what worries me a bit, so to say. We see a lot of new things happening, especially now around, we are talking about Agent 365, which is indeed $15 per user. Or you can have the E7 license, which covers even more, which will be, I think, the new standard instead of the E5 eventually. But yeah, it's very expensive. And if we only take a look at Agent 365, that's already like going this way. But now with Cowork G8 as well, you will see that the tokens are running. So you have to have a pay as you go. And I don't know about you if you have tried to look up the costs, but that's even more expensive than you think in the beginning. So yes, this is it's something that is happening, and I don't know where the end is, so to say.
And for me here is and so I know I hope you are both the MVPs and you could help me here. So for example, so if I am an IT administrator and I said, okay, I don't want everyone to work with Agent 365. I want to get an overview for our IT. And we have an account and we will give them an Agent 365 license, and we bought, I would say, for all your users in the IT, be a 7. So, and when we can manage that, I think is that against the Microsoft licensing policy? I didn't know it. Do you know it?
I think if you buy E7 for everyone, then you are covered. So that wouldn't be a problem. But if you would, I don't know what happens if we only have, like, for example, you have 2,000 users and 100 IT. What happens if you only give the 100 IT the license for the Agent 365? I don't know if well, it's not like legal from a Microsoft perspective, but if it works or not, that's a great question.
Yeah, I
That
think it's
sounds
one
for
of
me like the same problem as like the multiplexing problem from Power Automate. It sounds a little bit. So if someone is participate of something, you need to pay.
Yes.
And this is I think it will be working like that, but I didn't know it. Steve, do you have your idea there?
Yeah, so I know that multiplexing is definitely one of those things they look for. So you're not going to be able to just move your your single agent 365 among 20 different people, or like have everyone log into a single account that has the license and now they can interact with agents. Yeah, Microsoft's going to see that during your periodic review with them, and they're going to be like, no, you can't do this.
Okay.
But you certainly can just license specific users that need to have access to agents. And I think that if you have an agent that is designed properly and saves people time, you will be able to quickly and easily figure out how much is that agent worth, and is that a greater value than the cost of that license. And I think it'll be the same story with co-work as well. People are going to have to more seriously look at the return on investment with co-work for specific tasks with specific people, and those people will get the usage out of it. And other people who have basically, and I've already heard this a number of times, they've stopped using M365 Copilot, and instead they're just going to they're asking co-work everything. How do I find this document? What summarize this for me? Yeah, all that's going to stop.
Yes. That's one thing, that's for sure.
Marco, there's another question from Craig.
Yes,
Yeah,
true.
Agent 365, yes, it is going to be expensive. AI in general is expensive. It has been, up until this point, it has been subsidized by the people providing those AI features in hopes of gaining adoption, getting people comfortable with this technology. And when they pulled that free plug, or that limited plug, especially with co-work, and they're like, okay, here's what it's going to start costing you now that this is out in GA. People have to look at the cost. If something is going to cost me a week of time to build, or I could spend $20 once a month and use co-work, I'll spend the $20. I'll take that over spending a week of work preparing some report or presentation or something like that.
Yeah, but I think when you talk about organizations, and I just take a number, the 2000, which is an organization I am actually working with. If you enable co-work for all those people, and they are going to start using it, and they do not have the correct prompt, because the more you, what we already discussed previously, if the prompt is correct, then it will not cost you as much as you just say, okay, here you have my Excel with all data, just go find it out, and then it's way harder to get the information out of it, and it will cost you more tokens.
Yeah, training is going to become much more vital, and to make
Yes.
sure people create the correct prompt with the 4 key ingredients I know Microsoft talks about, so that you send one prompt, you get one answer, and you're done. You're back to your normal work.
Exactly.
And it
I
takes
see another
time.
question.
So I created a PowerPoint today with co-work, and I think it takes 30 minutes. So if you're done a mistake, you see it's only at the end.
Yeah.
So,
But you can, Josh Cook, he's doing a lot on LinkedIn on cost of co-work. So it would be a good one to follow as well, because he really had some great articles and prompts you can do ahead of time. So then you know exactly, almost what it will cost to do the prompt. So, and now we're moving a bit away from the Agent 365, but I think this is also really important. I see one more question you popped up. So it's from Scott. I think the
Yeah.
target of Agent 365 is to be assigned to anyone who may interact with an agent. That would be ideal, but it's the whole organization that needs to have the Agent 365, as far as I know.
Yeah, it's like Steve said. I think it's running to an multiplexing issue. That means if you participate, you need to pay for every user, and yeah, which will be I think a minimum $40 or $13 per user per month. I take a look into it. I think $4. Yeah, it's a lot of money for a 2,000 members company.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a
Absolutely.
particular phrase, because I think just last week I was doing a webinar on Agent 365. There's a phrase Microsoft's used a lot lately with to clarify like who needs the license. And it's something along the lines of any user that uses, interacts with, benefits from sponsors, as we get into some of those autonomous things, or manages, in the case of AI teammates, an agent. Those people would need the license. So if someone's not using an agent, they would not need the license, because the whole point of the license is it allows you to monitor and secure all of those interactions between the user and the agent and your systems. So if a user's not doing anything with agents, there's nothing to monitor. And so I think that's why they say they have that particular phrase. Basically, if you're using an agent, or you're benefiting from, or you're the sponsor/manager.
Oh, and Sebastian has a second question. I read it here. I already faced challenge from finance about return on invest in not matching with a promise cause users who would benefit are on salary, and if we don't work in specific environment where time reduction and task bring more revenue, it actually not create a return on invest. And I hope that I say it makes sense. Oh, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the main thing here is that it's all about adoption. And if the adoption is not done well, then it's really hard to have a good ROI on it. And I see this as well with companies. If they have an AI team, then it really works well. If they don't have, then it's problematic to have the ROI.
And I think there's a second one. So I'm creating as a product owner and Power Apps tool at the moment regarding to take a look on Power Platform solutions and define and return on invest regarding to, I would say, we make more money with it, or we are shorter in the process, or we have less risk, or something like that. And I think this must be defined in the process before. And if you build an agent, you are in the process. But I think a big block on governance is the part before. So someone in the company must say, yes, you can start with your agent, because you need to pay Paul and Steve and someone else as an external consultant. And it's important to know when we get the money back. And are we better when before, and in clear numbers? I think the numbers and percent are very important, and this is, I think, really, really good, Sebastian. I like that, because this is real reality, and no one wants to build an agent to be have a bad process as before. And this is really important. Okay. I think this was the last question for today. There's a lot of questions, really good. So I want to say thank you, Paul. I think it was an amazing show. We never get so many questions in, and a show really, really good. I think I saw that the people like that. I want to say something to our next show. Our next show will be in July with Drew Tatum, and we were to talk with Isabel and Forto about Power Automate gimmicks. Please stay back again. Last words from you, Steve.
Thanks, Paul, for coming on. This has been such a great conversation. We've had really, really good observations and comments from chat as well. So thank you there at home or at work, who's been watching and listening. And we'll see you on the next episode of the M365 Show.
Thanks. It was a great honor.
Have a nice day.
Your next customers don't need more ads. They need trusted signals. The M365 Show is where the Microsoft ecosystem shows up. Practical, community-driven sessions with real makers, admins, architects, and decision makers. When you sponsor, you don't interrupt people. You show up inside the conversation, where trust and context already exist. Sponsorship means brand visibility, a clear call to action, and content that keeps working through distribution and AI discoverability. Option 1, $99 a sponsor video up to 2 minutes placed in an existing episode. Option 2, $699 one moderated show with 1 or 2 guests plus premium PR and AI indexing. And the power play, $2,000 the ultimate global distribution package. You're a sponsor in every show for 2 years, including 1 moderated show with 1 or 2 guests, plus premium PR and AI indexing. Because when Microsoft teams evaluate tools, they don't search for ads. They remember the brands that taught them something and showed up consistently. If you want visibility with real Microsoft practitioners and content that keeps working, sponsor the M365 Show. Visit m365.show and let's build your next pipeline moment.